did that better, then the field would have opened up and we would have been able to get a lot more good attacks. But as the game went on, we weren't clinical enough in our passing and our decisions. Our spacing wasn't quite there. So not a really good performance for us tonight. Good news is we defended restarts really well, which they're very good at. And there was a lot of fouls called, which a team that has the size they have with some service, put us under some pressure. So I thought their chances from the run of play were slim. That's positive. I don't think they created much from the run of play, but certainly restarts were dangerous, or corners, which obviously they're getting around us or getting some chance. So Kentucky's a good team. There's got some experience. A lot of players back from, their team that was, just a game away from making the Final Four. When I thought today our youth showed a bit at times, and that's going to happen. I told the guys, good news is that you got a result out of it, and we got a shutout, and there's some positives. Just we know that performance is not a championship level performance, so we have to continue to look at that and dive deep and get better.
You mentioned inexperience. Was it some of it? Did you feel your freshmen weren't shooting fast enough, or everyone? I can think of 3 or 4 times where Penn was running, Endele was running, and the Kentucky defense closed down. I mean, that's obviously because they're a really, really good defense, but is it because of the step up in the defensive competition? Or did you hope some of those breakaways they would have shot a few seconds earlier?
I thought a few we took a little early. I thought tonight we were like, when we could have taken a few more touches. Passed early, and a few times I thought we should have passed, and we took extra touches. I thought even like Herb, when he had that chance, I thought he could have gone a little bit farther in. The big boy in the back, number 6, is athletic as get out, and he was able to catch Herb. It doesn't happen often, but he's about 4 of his one strides. He opens his legs up, and their keeper is, I think, one of the better keepers we'll see. He's fantastic, and it's a good team. And they have some experience, like we said. And I thought, again, our youth today, with just a little bit of grit and decision-making and kind of presence, and also not being stubborn at times when the game asks you to play a little different. And, that's what would be better for him.
And Roman gets his 3rd start tonight, keeps the clean sheet after, facing a ton of shots tonight. What do you just make of his performance and how composed he was there in the net?
Yeah, I thought it was the biggest performance of the year, honestly, with the restarts in particular. I thought his decisions on exits, his handling, he made obviously one really nice save on the redirect into his body. But I really felt comfortable, for one, every time it was, played in the box, so that Roman felt in control. And, obviously there's a few things that we'll look back and say, okay, we did a little better. But for a true freshman to handle as much kind of restart pressure, if you will, in a game that they're really good at, and you're looking at a 6'5" guy every time. He's an equalizer with your hands. He can, if we don't time it well, he can find something. So, really good game for him.
And with only 3 days to, between Penn State and Kentucky, how do you game plan for a team that brings so much, size, physicality, and speed?
Well, no doubt we got to really be smart about our bodies and get them recharged. Michigan's fantastic; they're very good in the front half in particular, with a lot of the returning players, and it's an important Big Ten game for both teams. So I know we'll perform better on Sunday than we did today, and yet Michigan will pose a lot of threats to us. So we got to continue to be strong defensively and just sharpen up a bit on our attacking.
This draw, it kind of looks like, there wasn't really much between you guys tonight. A lot of fouls, and only a couple shots on net, but it was really closely played. What does that just show about the overall level of play in college soccer this year?
Well, it's tight. Every game, you look around the country, there's, margins are small. Even when you see score lines, we then look a little bit deeper at maybe stats or shots created. Restarts change games. And again, I thought maybe that would be the difference today. Even us late in the game, I thought we had a couple that, we've been pretty good in our restarts as well. And we were close. Ball was bounced around the 6. You almost felt like that was how the goal would come tonight. Maybe not necessarily a great sequence on either team, which both teams were close. I thought we were, in particular the first half, very close on a few. But really maybe a second ball and restart. Kind of felt like that was where the game might be decided tonight. And both teams had balls bounced around the 6, blocked. Neither team could convert. probably on quality chances, probably a fair result with quality chances, but we gotta play better than that.
You guys said you just weren't clinical enough tonight. Is that just something you learn as, this team is still very young? You go on the road and get a couple big results in the Big Ten, but obviously can't finish the chances tonight. Is that just something you learn that goes along with the youth of this team? I guess?
Yeah, well, decision making. That was mostly of it, and then and just a little casual at times, and that's also some youth. Underestimating, the physicality of maybe your opponent, so we weren't creating contact maybe early enough, and we always seemed a little bit reactionary as the game went on, and that's just a sign that, again, uncertainty, a little frustration from some of our young guys that are used to having kind of more better games, and they can't get upset and they can't lose focus. They just got to say, I got to grind through this, and maybe find who's on the game, find the teammates that are feeling it, and know that maybe I'm not going to touch it as much, but let's find where the strengths are. And I think today we just as a group didn't recognize what players were on and what the space was on. And when we did, I thought sometimes we just didn't execute.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little frustrating in that sense. But again, take nothing away, we still create some good chances. I'm just, at this point of the year, we really got to dig in and our expectations are we're getting better every game. And I did think that some things we did tonight really well. I said defending restarts was excellent, and some of our 1v1 defending and small group defending I thought was excellent. So there was some improvement in our group, but I think on the attacking and some other stuff not.
You go 110 minutes with a physical team and with the short break. How does that affect practice and preparation for this next game?
Obviously, the guys that played significant minutes will have a very light day with kind of regen, and the next day will also be light. So yeah, we're in their fitness and their time is coming to these matches. So training's going to be super light, very functional, very specific to whatever we need. And the guys that are in the rotation minutes and support players, we just got to continue to work them so that when their name's called, they're ready to step in and add those minutes like BB's done and Daniel Muni's stepped in. And Maloon didn't play as much tonight, but other games we might need him for 40, 50 minutes. Tonight maybe it was 20. Thomas War, I can go on the list. They got to stay ready and sharp because their name could be called anytime.
Go for it. Yeah.
And I was in and out in the second half, but second game with Joris, how do you feel like he's blending in with the team and impacting through his first couple outings?
He's a fantastic talent, no doubt. I thought we could have found him a little earlier in the first half. He was available in between the lines, and we took some passes or went negative when it could have gone forward, and other times we forced it. So I thought he was in really good spots. He was dangerous. I thought when he went wide, he created problems. Second half, his body, he's still not, he's not match fit fully. So just being banged up and some of the intensity of what we're doing with him now in games is different than what we were doing in training. And we're super patient. I mean, I'm overall really pleased. I know he's frustrated because he wanted to do more in that second half, and it wasn't meant to be tonight for him in that second half. But I thought he showed in the first two games exactly what he can do. He can change the game for us with his unbalancing, his finishing, and his physicality. Like, we needed Jarice's maturity tonight, and obviously with him not feeling great in that second half, he wasn't able to impact like I think he will in the future.
Coach, one of the players who probably doesn't get talked about nearly as much as Simon Waver. He always seems like he's in the right place at the right time. And a lot of times he's the only senior on the field. What does having him this year do for the team?
It's been really good. I thought few 10 minutes in the first 10, I thought he was a little bit not where he's been the last 8 games. He's been fantastic, one of our best players, and he should be talked about more. He's a very good defender. He gets forward well. He again took out, arguably their best attacker, who is a very interesting match because of the way he positions himself and their team. I thought he grew into the game and again did very well defensively, and he'll continue to offer things offensively for us. Serbia last week with Penn State was great. His service is getting better. I'm really happy with Simon. He's doing a great job for us.
Do you feel like games like these in the middle of October that are tight and physical will help serve your team better, come late November and into December?
They will. I mean, the challenge is how we recover for such a big game Sunday. And we obviously really would like to find a positive result. But I think long-term, playing a team that wouldn't pose the challenge that this experienced, kind of bigger, mature Kentucky team, we're going to be better. That's why we do it. That's why we challenge our guys, even these midweeks. And you look around the country, there's a little bit of a difference in philosophies and who you schedule midweek. It definitely will help us. And again, the result won't hurt us tonight. I mean, Kentucky's having a very good year. I think when all said and done, their RPIs will be very high. This won't happen. This will only have a positive or neutral effect, if you will. But it will give us experience that you can't replicate by watching or looking at video or training. So that was good.
Can you, if IU and Kentucky, could you see a meeting again in the tournament down the road in like the Elite Eight, given the quality of both teams?
That would be a nice matchup. We could put us in the Elite Eight. That would be great. I think they're a good team. They're a good team. I can see them doing, continue to find results. They played a couple really good teams this year and gotten some results. I thought they were a little unfortunate against Kentucky or Louisville earlier in the year. But Louisville's got a nice side. So yeah, I could see them going deep. As for us, I mean, I can't look past Michigan right now. That's just, I can't even get past that game. So I would love to be in the Elite Eight.
All right.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys.